Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where we will go beyond the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. Be part of down-to-earth, no BS conversations where we will explore hot topics on love and money, relationships and business, beauty, and who we get to be with all that shit in between. With our insights and your actions, let's be unstoppable together. Let's go. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. And today we're talking about a topic that's a little bit controversial, but maybe not for some of you. And Vicky and I were talking about this before the show, that social media is actually robbing us of our well-being. And we were talking about the implications of social media and how we are being duped by an algorithm and by external forces, and we might not even be aware of it. But if we don't open our eyes and our awareness and our consciousness, we're going to quickly go down a rabbit hole that is going to have some serious implications. So this is not going to be all heavy and significant, you guys. I promise we'll keep it light. But really the intention of this episode is to just help you be mindful and aware of social media being one of those things that's keeping you from being unstoppable.
Absolutely. How often do you wake up in the morning and, say it's a Saturday morning and you think, oh, I'm just going to pick up my phone and scroll. And next thing you know, it's 2 hours later and you go, oh my God, where did the time go? Right? And what did you get out of it? And what did you get out of it? Yeah, sure. You see a lot of pretend lives, right? Because a lot of times people post just what they want you to know on social media. Some people use it as a crutch to air out their dirty laundry. I mean, there's so many different things, but not just that. There's ads and what is true and what isn't, what is real and what isn't. It was funny. I had gone to get some plants for the house, and I went to a local place here and I said, I would really like this beautiful, it's a butterfly plant. She said, did you see that on social media? And I said, yeah. She goes, yeah, it was AI. It's not real. Because she literally had asked her manager to bring in this beautiful plant and it wasn't even real. And then you look them up and it's like butterfly plant, and there's all these different plants, but it wasn't the exact, right? It looked like a butterfly. It was beautiful. I thought, oh, wouldn't that be pretty? Yeah, it's not even real. It's AI. So it's like, what is true and what isn't true? What is real and what isn't real?
Well, it's like those trends, and I don't know when you're listening to this, maybe it'll be another thing of the past, but you can take yourself and turn yourself into a doll and the things that represent you. And so my feed on social media was all of these creators that are turned into dolls. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so many people were jumping on the bandwagon. And I thought, what? Is that adding to people's lives, or is it just a filler? And then I started realizing, so this weekend it was really interesting, right? Because I do most of my business on LinkedIn, but recently I've been showing up more on Facebook and Instagram. And I saw this ad for this guy that was training people on how to do a system to create clients. He was talking about social media and your videos and how you can go viral with your videos. And I just thought, you know what, I'm curious. I just want to see what he has to say. Well, because I clicked on that ad, then when I was scrolling, I saw 3 posts. I saw another ad for a different guru talking about a different strategy. And then 3 posts, then another ad, another ad, another ad. Well, after an hour of being on social media, Instagram, watching reels, I was like, oh my God, I am the most incompetent person on the planet. I wanted to run in 100 different directions. Like, I need this and I need this and I need this and I need this. And then it's like, but what is true and what's not true? So I was looking at some of these people that have thousands of likes, thousands of comments, and I was looking at who is liking and who is commenting. And I realized a lot of the people were from foreign countries. And I'm not saying anything about that, but I know right away because complete transparency. Years ago, I had a PR company come to me and say, listen, the secret to growing your business is to grow your following. And in order to do that, we can post on your behalf and we can promote you and all of this stuff. And I remember my business partner at the time was like, this is the next best thing. We got to do this. So pretty much overnight, I went from having 5,000 followers on Instagram to 10,000 to 15 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 100, 120, 150, 180,000 followers. And I was getting thousands of likes, thousands of comments. And I was just like, wow, their strategy works. Mind you, we paid $50,000 to work with this company for 3 months. Okay, guys, like I'm being real with you so you can see the implication, right? As soon as we stopped paying that company, I started getting 3 likes, 4 likes. Now I've completely screwed my Instagram account. And I don't have a problem sharing this with you guys because, buyer beware. If I can do it, other people can too. If you have money. And so a lot of people that are, getting traction, regular traction, there are people that are legit. They have really great content and people get a lot of value from them. They are legit. But you got to do your research. And I know we started this conversation about social media affecting your health and well-being. If you are watching somebody's great life with their great husband and great kids, and you're starting to feel like, oh man, my life isn't that great, unfollow people. If you're following people where you feel a little way about yourself after you watch their content, they're not actually giving you light and energy. They're not intentionally, but when people are like, look at me, they're actually robbing you of your light and your energy. And there's so much more, but Vicky, go ahead.
No, I agree. I'm just, yes. I mean, if you can't see me, I'm nodding. I'm like, absolutely. Because, I think I know quite a few people actually that when we're together, that they're on their phone and they're literally on social media. And it's like you're checking to see what other people are doing on your phone the entire time you're sharing your time with us as a group or as people. Like you and I get together. If I'm on my phone the whole time, checking my social media, what are we getting from our relationship and our conversation together? We're getting nothing.
And what message is that?
That's right.
They matter, you don't.
That's right. And it may not be intentional, but it is the feeling that you get from that experience. I get that feeling from that experience is, oh, well, okay, well, you came to see me, but all right, you go ahead and I'll sit. I'll just sit. And I just look and then all of a sudden, oh yeah. And don't get me wrong, I have definitely been guilty of the same. I have over the years. I definitely have. And it's something that I want to consciously work on because I just think it's unfair. I think it's unfair to be in a group of people and be on your phone and looking to see what else is important. But I also think that when we're doing that, what is it doing to us as people? How does it make you feel really? Is it the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? It's just like an addiction, right? It's no different because if you can't be without your phone and you can't be without that social media and we all get that, what is it, at the end of the week, your total of how many hours per day you were on your phone. When you see that number, how does it make you feel, right? Like if it says you've been on your phone for 9 hours a day.
When I was a teacher, we used to have this thing where we would tell the kids 1 hour of screen time. Yeah. So it was promoted in school, 1 hour of screen time. And back 10 years ago, that was easy, 1 hour of screen time. Sometimes kids had 2 hours. But now we look at, we're the models, we're the role models. And if we're spending 9 hours on our phone, I know my kids, we used to have this hard rule. At the dinner table, there are no phones. In the car, there are no phones. And slowly the habits creep in where the phones are on the table, but they're not really on them, but they're checking notifications every once in a while, or in the car, they're on their phones, they're checking their Snapchat. And I'm thinking, if this is what it's like right now, we're talking about 10 years ago, they were on their phones for an hour. 10 years later, they're on their phones 9, 10, 12 hours a day. What's it going to be if we don't wake up to see the impact of these habits and behaviors, not just on our mental health and well being, but on our connections, on our relationships, and our motivation, our productivity?
Absolutely. I remember going out for dinner. My one daughter, my husband and I, and three kids, and we were sitting at a table, and we looked over, and this family came in, and they had a mom and a dad and three kids, and every single one of the people at that table had a device. Even the little one, who was 4 or 5 years old, had a tablet, had a device, and they were all sitting there on their phones and their devices the entire time that they were at the restaurant having dinner. What do we do? What do we do about this? I know we all have our own, and, I remember a woman saying in one of the moms groups that I'm involved in, saying, for when I go to the mall with my 4-year-old or 3-year-old, she says, I sometimes will get that cart and it has the little tablet in it. She'll pay I don't know how much, $15. I don't know what it is, but then that keeps the child amused while they're shopping. And she said, before you judge me, please know that at home, my child doesn't get this time. But when I'm out and I'm shopping and I have 10 stores to go to and I have to bring my child with me, makes my life easier to cope, to deal with in the mall. But so many people were judging, but right? Make her life easier. And, so many people were judging and saying, and she didn't share it for the point of that. She was sharing it for a totally different reason. But as soon as she put that in there, that was the target. That was the reason. Mm. And it's hard being a mom, and it's hard if your children are with you all the time. We had the luxury of one of us sometimes watching the kids while the other one did the errands, but not everyone has that luxury, right? They don't. And I get it. But again, as a parent, if you're on your phone for 9, 10, 12 hours a day and you're telling your children that they can't have their devices, is it do as I say, not as I do?
Well, I think ultimately the reason why we get stuck in those habits and behaviors, they're almost reactive. We're numbing. We're trying to fill a void, just like drinking alcohol. People are like, okay, people don't have alcohol problems. They have life problems that they use alcohol to cope with. We don't have a technology problem. We have a life problem that we're using technology to fill time, to fill boredom, to make our life easier, to make parenting easier. And there is absolutely no judgment here. My belief is a lot of work in the beginning can actually save you work in the long run. And I know with my kids, when they were growing up, we were big advocates of no technology. It was different 10, 15 years ago though, right? But we had, friends who they were very big advocates of technology. And I remember we would go out to dinner. Our kids weren't allowed. Their kids were allowed. But then it was almost like to get their attention to do little things in life, appreciate the little things. It was so hard because they needed to be stimulated all the time. And it's not comparing, but we found different ways to make our lives easier at the grocery store. I would actually have them shop with me and say, hey, listen, go pick out your cereal. But the first 3 ingredients couldn't be sugar. Well, they were taking cereal boxes off. They were looking, they're like, all of this has, sugar as the first 3 ingredients. But while I was down the rest of the hall, they were entertained looking at cereal boxes. There were times where I literally left the shopping cart in the middle of the grocery store because they were just so bored, whatever, having problems, having meltdowns. And there was days where I was like, give me that damn tablet. But at the same time, they learned the next time, if we do that again, we're going to walk out again. And I told the lady, I said, I'll come back. I'll put this away. I'm really sorry, but I need to teach them a lesson right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And never again, because they learned, you're not going to do this. But I feel like we gotta step one, notice what it's actually giving us. What is social media giving us? Mm-hmm. Is it giving us Is it filling time? Is it filling boredom? Is it, helping us deal with loneliness? Is it helping us? I say sometimes when we're in the company of people that we don't really want to be with, it's easier to look on our phone to be with. So check that out too. Like, are you surrounding yourself with people that you actually don't want to be with and you'd rather what's going on? So I think awareness is the first step. And
Absolutely.
the second thing I really think is find something that's actually important for you. Like, what is something that you want to create in your life? Like, find something. Like, I know right now I've been saying I wanted to write a book and I have it on my computer. It's like, okay, how would I make that more important than scrolling on social media? Even if it's for 30 minutes to interrupt the pattern. Like, okay, normally from 8 till 10, I'll be on my phone scrolling on, whatever we do. It's like, what if I could just take 30 minutes back and read a book or listen to music or listen to a really great podcast? Just something to interrupt the pattern of scrolling. And then I think the third thing is, if you are going to be on social media, unfollow people that give you the experience of less than.
Absolutely.
Now, it's not them that's making us feel that way. So, like, we're not blaming anybody, but if that's the experience, do yourself a favor and unfollow so that your feed is filled with things that really light you up or inspire you or give you energy, rather than take your energy or take your light away or make you feel less than or not enough. I think that would be the three things that I would recommend if people are like, yeah, I'm kind of done with the social media. It is impacting my health and well-being. And I do go down the rabbit hole. These three little tweaks.
Absolutely. And you know what I think too, Tina, is even allowing yourself that some time, but not giving yourself that much time. Like, like we were talking about earlier, my kids always they weren't allowed to have their phones in their bedrooms at night. They were plugged in, they were in the kitchen, right? There was specific times, whatever. But if we could say, okay, you're only put a time limit on your Facebook or your Instagram. I know we both work on social media, like we both post and we're on there doing work as well. We're not just scrolling sometimes, but even still, other things are still as important, even in our work. Just being on social media and how many likes and how many you get, it isn't the be all and end all of everything. Yes, I get that we need to grow our social media presence and I understand all that. But like you said at the beginning, people pay for that as well. So I would rather have 100 likes of people that I actually know really are liking it because they've read it, they've listened to it or whatever, than having 10,000 of people that I don't have a clue and and I've paid for them in that respect. So I think, putting a time limit on things, and even with our work, get up in the morning and say, you do it. I'm going to work on LinkedIn for an hour today and I'm going to do, right? Like, we do those things for a reason. But if we can allow, set our children up for that as well, I get that it's the way it is, but I just don't think that it's benefiting us the way it should. Run outside, this weekend. I had the grandkids here for Easter and they played outside. They flew kites. They did sidewalk chalk. They colored. They did 100 things and they kept busy all day. They didn't ask once for a tablet right? And that's usually the thing, especially in the winter. Okay, here's your tablet, have some downtime, whatever, watch a movie. It's all screen time. It's all the same, right?
From home to our computer, to our TV, to our phone.
Right. And in front of the TV, we're on our phone. And I'm definitely one of those people that when my husband and I are sitting at night watching TV, I'm on my phone. I'm either playing my game because I want to be mindless, or I'm looking at things that I need to do for the next day for work. And that's not quality time with him any more than it is with the children at the dinner table.
Or online shopping.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Vicky has a habit of online shopping for me. She sees all these beautiful things and she's like, oh my God, I saw this. I'm like, stop shopping.
But right. Isn't that true though? Everything's at our fingertips now. Whether it's shopping, social media, people get their groceries delivered. Everything is at your fingertips. Your food, your Uber Eats, whatever it is, it's all at your fingertips. I'm not saying it's bad, but I am saying that we should create boundaries for ourselves with social media and screen time, to do things that are equally as important and as stimulating, like going outside, going for a walk, spending time with your loved ones face to face, one on one. I think it's just, we're losing that. We're losing that human connection in that way. And that makes me sad. It really does, because there's nothing more than us stopping over on a Thursday afternoon. I stopped over last week and we got to sit and talk to each other face to face. That is important. That kind of connection you can't get. As much as I love being able to do this with you over the screen, it's still not the same as when you're sitting together in a room and having a conversation.
Yeah, and I feel like none of what we're saying right now is judgment. It's just everything swings. Everything has to rebalance itself, right? Everything swings. We're in the swing of like everything's online, AI, all technology and this and that and convenience, and like what is going to happen when the pendulum swings the opposite? God forbid it gets shut down, like the pandemic. I mean, unfortunately we were locked in our house, but that just fed into the social media even more. I was like,
sure.
Hey, you know what? We're not socialized. We're not okay. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because that will like take me down another topic. But really be aware of the programming that is going on right now, and the algorithm and the mind fuckery. I'm going to say it's mind fuckery that is happening on social media. Because if we're not aware of it, if we're not being conscious, if we're not seeing that there's a lot of like negative forces at play here, if we don't do something, if we don't rise above, so to speak, there are going to be serious implications for humanity. So use it responsibly. I think when we all start making little tweaks, little adjustments, one little action, just a 1% change, one little degree, I think that's going to end up being a really, a really powerful, yeah, not crazy, like, oh, I'm going to give up social media. It's like, okay, I already gave up drinking. I already am starting to go to the gym. I'm not dating. I'm giving up all of these things, but it's not giving up. It's being aligned with who we are and what's important to us. And I think when we start getting alignment, we'll start realizing and seeing that we don't have to stuff our feelings and emotions. We don't have to stuff boredom. We can actually find something that lights our soul on fire, but we got to be willing to take that first step in order to create it. And that's kind of the reason why we wanted to share this, is not to hop on our band. We are saying that we're in it too. We do it too. We are not immune. We're not living outside in nature and living in tents and
no. And if you have any thoughts or ideas or comments that you can share to make this transition easier for everyone, I would love to hear it. Like, the nice weather is getting here. So obviously we're going to be outside more, and we're going to be doing extra other things other than being behind our computers and on our phones as much. But, it's just about, like you said, that alignment. Be aligned with what you're choosing to do, and don't use it as a crutch to, or as something to, like you said, stuff your emotions, stuff your, right? Just boredom, whatever it is. Because, we're all guilty of some of that. I know that, again, I do it all the time. I get it. And I'm trying to be more mindful. And I actually have little things on my phone where I could only be on it for so long, which I think is important.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's awareness, it's consciousness, it's being unstoppable and noticing when we're actually getting hooked and hijacked by external forces to be trying to keep us there, keep us online. We got to rise above, you guys. We got to notice, interrupt. Anyways, give us your insights, give us your feedback. Let us know, are you willing to take one little micro action towards your alignment, towards your soul's purpose, towards like breaking, what do we call it? It's like breaking the resistance, breaking the piece de resistance.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, breaking the system. Let's break this pattern, this system that's being created out there in the world, and watch when we are conscious of it, how things start shifting, even on an energetic level. We start attracting more of what we want and not what we don't want. So, yeah,
Love it.
thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you back at the next episode.
Have yourselves a beautiful day. Well, friends, that is the end of our episode today. If you love this episode, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And please share us with your friends and tag us on your socials at The Art of Being Unstoppable. So for today, have yourself a beautiful day and let's be unstoppable together. See you next time.